Now in this section, we are going to learn how to create a tab bar just like this one. When we switch between the tabs, we are getting the specific page of the tab bar that is selected. So to create that tab bar, we have again the scaffold app bar and the text. To create that, we have the property of bottom in the app bar where we will pass the tab bar widget coming from the material design, and it has one compulsory property, that is the list of tabs. This list of tabs accepts the list of widgets, and this tab bar, as I said, is coming from the material design, and that will display the horizontal rows of tabs. So inside these tabs, this accepts the list of widget just like it is saying in here, and open this, and inside this we are going to have the widget of tab, and inside this we are going to have the text of cloud and the icon of icons.cloud, and the other tab will be the terrain and the icon of terrain, and the third tab will be wave and the icon of waving hand. Now after this, if you Ctrl S to hot reload, so you will see this error in here. It is saying no tab bar controller for tab bar. When creating a tab bar, you must either provide an explicit tab controller using the controller property, or you must ensure that there is an default tab controller. So for now, we will wrap our scaffold with the default tab bar controller just like this. Inside this, there is one compulsory property, that is the length, and we must set the length according to the tabs in our list of tabs. So here we will specify 3, and we will set the initial index to 0. Now after this, Ctrl S to hot reload, and we got this tab bar, and we can switch between the tabs just like this. Now to create the view for them, we have the body center. So on the center, we will put the tab bar view, which has again one compulsory or the required property, that is the children property. And inside the children of tab bar view, each widget corresponds to the tab widgets in the tab bar, and that's how they together build a tab bar for us. So inside the children of tab bar view, we are going to have 3 center widgets with the child of text, and they are saying, hey, this is tab 1, hey, this is tab 2, and hey, this is tab 3, and they has some style of font size 20. Now Ctrl S to hot reload, and we got, hey, this is tab 1, and when we switch between the tab, we can also swipe just like this, and we can also change the tab by clicking them just like this. And each tab got the corresponding tab view. Like the second widget inside the children of tab view corresponds to the second tab inside the tab bar. And you can see on the second tab, we are seeing, hey, this is tab 2, which is the second child of the tab bar view children. And that's how we can create a basic tab bar with the default tab bar controller or default tab controller. Now to control these tabs a bit programmatically, we can remove this default tab bar controller and create our own controller for the tab bar. So now let's remove this and Ctrl S to hot reload, and we will get this error again, no tab bar for the tab bar. We must either create our explicit tab controller or simply wrap our scaffold with the default tab controller. So now we are going to create our own controller. So in here in this tab, we are going to have the tab bar controller, which has a modifier of flat, meaning that it will be initialized in the init stat. So we got our tab bar controller initialized in the init stat method. This init stat is the method that is called when an object for your stateful widget is created and inserted inside the widget tree. And it will be called only once when the object of this my home page is created. So inside this, when this first calls, we will initialize our controller and the tab bar controller, and inside this we set the length of 3 and vsync to this initial index to 0. So what this vsyncs means? This vsyncs create an object that manages the stat required by the tab bar and the tab bar view, and then we pass this, which means that our stateful class stat. So to access this, we have to do with ticker provider stat mixin, and simply this will start working. We simply mix the ticker provider stat mixin with our stat class of our home page, and simply we pass this in here. And you will get to know more about this vsync in the future videos. So that was it for our controller. We create our explicit manual controller and we initialize in the init stat, which will only call once when the object of our stateful widget is created and inserted into the widget tree. And then simply in the tab bar, we have the property of controller and simply pass this controller in here just like this, and also copy this and also pass it in the tab bar view. Now after this, how to start your application, and this will start working the same. Now if you want to control our tabs programmatically here, first of all, let's create a floating action button in our scaffold. That is the property of the scaffold. Here we will pass the floating action button. The floating action button means which floats here on the scaffold, and it has one compulsory property, that is on press, and a function. And here it has the child property where you will pass the icon of icons.add, and in here when this is pressed. Now using the controller, we will control our tabs. First of all, we will do controller.animate to the, let's say we want to animate to 2 and put the semicolon in here. Now Ctrl S to hot reload, and when we click this floating action button, this will directly navigate us to the TabBar 3, and when we pass the 1 and again Ctrl S to hot reload, when we click this, you can see this navigate us to the tab 1, and if we pass 0 and Ctrl S to hot reload, then we click this, you can see this navigate us to the TabBar 1 which is on 0 index. So that's how we can create the tab bars and work with the tab bars in our Flutter application, and you will get to know more about these tab bars in the future videos.